Hello and welcome to another update video about Cardano. In this video, we're going to take a look at what the Cardano price is doing and also Bitcoin. We can see that not much has happened today since the last two updates. So what I'm going to do is only briefly talking about the latest developments, but then we're going to take a look what actually happened in last September in a little bit more detail and try to find some similarities of what is happening this September to then make sure that we understand when we could potentially, if the same structure happens again, and it looks a little bit like that, when we could find a bottom here. At the moment, again, you can see that Bitcoin, Ethereum, Cardano all make small gains, but in the last 7 days, as you know, we made quite a bit of a loss. So we start with Bitcoin first, start on the daily here. We can see that we continue to trade in this descending triangle. All the indicators look quite bearish on the daily. I won't repeat everything, we did it before, and nothing has changed. So if you want to get more detail, if you're if you're just tuning in and haven't seen any of these videos before on my channel, then take a look maybe at the one that I did earlier today about Cardano. It's very well explained there, but for everybody who's watching several of these updates during the day, it would just be a bit boring. So I'm just gonna skip the explanation, but it's all looking on the daily, still looking bearish. I still expect another move to the downside. We continue to trade in the descending triangle, which is a bearish pattern with a horizontal support line and a descending resistance line. What we can see here on the hourly is that we made a move to the upside. As expected, we bounced off that resistance line. We are continuing. We're currently now again, in a little bit of a consolidation. Maybe we'll try another attempt to the upside, a bit like here. We did another attempt to the upside and then broke to the downside. I don't expect us to break here out of this triangle, and if it happens, this is still part of a larger down move. I mean, this consolidation that we are currently in on the larger scale, if I zoom out, you can see that all of that consolidation here is a little bit of a bumpy ride. So you can't rule out that we might give another attempt here, maybe to push up once more. We could even go up to 46, maybe even 47, and then drop once more. You can't rule that out, but we are all in a downtrend. In a downtrend, I wouldn't enter a long position. If depending on your strategy. I mean, I'm dollar cost averaging. I buy on a regular basis, but if you're trying to make some short-term profit, normally in a downtrend you don't enter a long position. It's just what it is, because the moves to the downside, you can see that here they're just much stronger. And you have to wait until we're back in an uptrend to enter a long position. Again, just my opinion, what I learned over the years. What we can see, we expect another move to the downside because the indicators are looking quite bearish. And even if we have a little bit more positive indicators here, for example, on the 4-hour chart, the daily still shows, quite a bearish move. The only reason why we're currently having a little bit of a more positive development here on the 4-hour chart is that we are getting from this huge move to the downside that we had here around the 20th of September. We are entering a sideways move, which for the indicators looks like that the trend is actually slowing down, which is correct. We are entering a range market again here on the very short term. For the 4-hour, then that looks a little bit more bullish, but you need to look at the bigger picture. After these two pumps to the downside, we had it the last time as well. When we then pushed to the upside here, we bounced off that resistance line, and the indicators here look quite bullish as well. We even got back into the overbought territory, and the ADX looked quite positive. We were back in the green. So always take a look at the bigger picture. These are only indicators, they only indicate, but as long as we haven't seen a new high, for example, or as long as we're trading in this channel to the downside, which sort of keeps us within it, then I can't see that trend reversal. But I did say it in the Ethereum video, as soon as I see a trend reversal coming, and I currently expect it at around 37,500, then I will let you know. Let's go to Cardano, and that is what you guys are probably all here for on the daily again. It happens what I did say in the earlier video. At the moment, we are continuing to trade in this sideways in this channel between $2.13 and $2.03, $2.02, continuing to trade in this sideways move. And in the earlier video, I actually moved that down here, that former support line. is now down here, just to show you with a little bit of a thicker line here that we're also trading in a descending triangle within a larger descending wedge. As you know, the descending wedge is a bullish pattern, so at some point we will break out to the upside. That's my expectation, but at the moment we are not. At the moment we are trading in this descending triangle within a descending wedge. A descending triangle, however, is rather bearish, means that we most likely drop to the downside, and so many times before I've now mentioned that I expect us to push once more to the downside. And you know, I looked at the indicators before, and again the indicators confirm that they are all looking quite bearish, especially on the daily as well, very similar to Bitcoin. We're also now trading below the 50-day moving average, below the 20-day moving average, and we are just continuing to be in this downtrend. The bulls still try to push the price or keep the price above $2, but I think it's inevitable that we move to the downside. And again, we could get another push to the upside. You can't rule that out, but we are still in this consolidation, and it means, you know, it takes quite a lot to get out of this. It started now nearly a month ago, and it takes a bit of buying pressure now to really get out of that. Just a short-term recovery like we had here on the 22nd of September, where we pushed from 190 up to 230 and even to 245. That can always happen, you know, but if we look at what happened in the last move to the downside, where we also had this descending triangle here in which we are currently trading, I think before we actually push up once more, I think we drop once more and then push up, but maybe that is the next move to the downside will be the final one. And why do I say that? Well, we take a look at the last September. So let's take a look, make that a little bit larger here. So last September 2020, what we can see is that we also came down in 3 moves. So at the moment we're only in the second move to the downside. So what we can see here, we marked the top here, the high, then we came down in a first corrective move. We came down in a second corrective move and in a third corrective move. Now, after the third corrective move, we started to push to the upside. Yeah, we found the bottom here. And how do you identify that on time? Well, you get a lot of green candles, you make a new high, you push above these moving averages, you know, all these signals coming together. So that was the bottom. And as I said, we just, at the time, we had 3 moves to the downside. So let's just remind ourselves where we are at the moment. Well, if you hear noise, that's outside. Someone's driving with a very loud boat, probably living next to a canal here, and it's really loud outside, so you might hear a little bit of a motor noise. But anyway, so we came down in 1 move, in a second move, and we are now possibly entering the 3rd move. We haven't done that yet. It looks a bit like that, but we haven't marked a new low yet. So I think when we mark the next low, that might be that recovery, that might be that bottom, because it happened last September. So many things are similar in 3 parts that move to the downside here. So that is when we could potentially expect that final bottom, and also it would align very well with the Elliott Wave method that we apply here, where we have 1 move to the downside, a second one, and I still expect a 3rd one in that wave, in the C wave, to complete at here 181 is the golden ratio at the 0.618 Fibonacci retracement level, and then we've got the 145. I think that would be my personal worst case. Hopefully, I mean, if we lose that, I don't want to talk about these scenarios, but 145 is the lowest one that I would expect. That would be quite bearish. I'd rather think that we hopefully find the bottom here at 181 at that golden ratio, and then push up to at least 450 in the next move to the upside. But bear in mind that that 450 will not just be a straight line, it will be a bumpy ride, maybe as well like last September. And just take a look how the recovery looked like in the last September a year ago. You know, after we found that bottom here, we had a first wave to the upside, yeah, then the second one was quite strong here. That was really strong. And when after that low, yeah, we had first wave, marked the high here, probably that might have been the second, you know, based on Elliott wave, wave 1 to the upside, wave 2 to the downside, wave 3 to the upside, wave 4 to the downside, and then yeah, I obviously haven't done the count yet correctly, but yeah, you had various moves. Then I just want to make you aware that this is a bumpy ride, right? So it's not just going up in a straight line, and at some point then we might see that parabolic push to the upside once more, and that is just normal for cryptos, you know. And yeah, then it will just push on, isn't it? So that's what I'm looking for. I still think there's one more push to the downside, and it is very similar like last September at the moment. So we just want to see that third push to the downside, and then hopefully we'll get back up, right? So okay, so I hope you liked that video. If you did, please smash the like button, and if you want to follow me on this crypto journey, then please subscribe. Thanks a lot for watching. Bye bye.